here. So on the clock, 2018. We'll use the Draft Utopia board. We'll use difficult mode. But the Colts at number 3 is interesting because we could go with a pass rusher like Bradley Chubb. I feel like he's a natural 43 defender, and the Colts run a 34. So I would rather take either Nelson or Barkley at 3. I'm honestly thinking Saquon. If the Browns and Giants both pass on Saquon, I'm honestly thinking we'll just take Saquon at 3 and give Andrew Luck another blue-chip player to aid him on offense. And Barkley can be the Terrell Davis to Luck's Elway.
You really think so?
Yeah. If
I see Saquon as more of like a hard-hitting running back. So, yeah, I guess I can kind of see like the Terrell Davis comparison. I almost want to say like I kind of see like a Corey Dillon almost.
Yeah.
Like a hard smash-mouth football player.
I clicked on the Colts logo and Fanspeak assigned me the Dolphins. I'm actually wondering if Thomas is committing cyber terrorism, trying to get us to do one for the Dolphins. I'm joking. He's not.
I think Thomas wants us to be able to make his Dolphins great again, but let's face it, that's going to take a lot of rebuilding. I mean, they're an okay team, but let's face it, they had a good quarterback and had good pieces. I mean, I was pretty high on Jay Ajayi, and then they traded him. Their backup running back had, good games, but what did he really accomplish through those defenses that he defeated? So I do feel like the Saquon Barkley pick is a good pick.
Yeah, we haven't made it official yet, but I've clicked on 7 rounds. I've clicked on next, and then we're going to use our board. We're going to use a bunch of other because I've updated the top 200 on my draft game, and I've got that exact top 200 up on the Fanspeak game with the additional players. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So we got that's pretty good that we made it that far. I mean, that it's only December. We already have our top 200 on our draft game up, as well as our top 400 for Fanspeak.
Well, yeah, that's like really good stuff. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of the draft sites scouting sites that are definitely a little bit more, I guess, informative, and we like to be able to make everything as interactive as we can. Okay.
Yep. We'll use the Draft Utopia Team Needs board that we constructed on this very podcast a few weeks ago on a Friday afternoon when we just went through the entire board and redesigned it from the ground up. We'll be using that. That's up here, and we'll use difficulty. That's what I did with the Patriots, and I still got a lot of premium value picks. So let's use difficult, or should we use classic? Classic's easy, but we could try difficulty and really test our GM skills. I mean, I got Calvin Ridley in the 2nd round on difficult mode.
That's definitely going to be interesting to see who picks last.
We're going to try difficult mode again with the Colts and the Broncos. All right, so we're up here. Fanspeak's on the clock, draft simulator, and we're ready to go. We've got our Draft Utopia Team Needs board and our Draft Utopia board here ready to go. And let's click the Let's Draft button and let's see what happens with the Colts here as the first round of this is underway. As we get into this first round here, we'll find out very shortly what we end up having to choose from. I think if Barkley is here, he's the slam dunk pick. If not, we'll probably go with Nelson and address that offensive line. Either way, we're in a great position as far as the Colts go because the Colts have Frank Gore and Marlon Mack. And if Saquon, a generational talent like Saquon's not there, we can wait for a running back until day 3 because there's a lot of options in the later part of the draft. I guess Saquon is there. Rosen and Darnold look like they've been the first 2 picks, but I don't have an official confirmation. So, oh wow! So the Niners surprised everyone and took I think Saquon. Okay, we're picking at number. The Colts are picking at number 4 in this thing. On Draft Tech, the Colts are at number 3, but on this simulator, the Colts are at number 4. And the Niners, I know what the Niners did at 3, but I don't know what the Browns or the Giants did at number 1 or number 2. I think Saquon is available at 4, though. This is really, really frustrating me with how... Okay, so the Browns took Darnold. The Browns took Josh Rosen, the Giants took Sam Darnold, and the 49ers took Minka. So we're going to take Saquon here at number 3, since he's the best player on the board for the Colts. And I just feel like that's the right pick for the Colts. You get, I've only gave 3 players this decade max grades: Andrew Luck, Myles Garrett, and Saquon. So now we've got Luck and Saquon, 2 players with max grades ready to anchor this offense. So as we get into things, the Broncos took Baker in this simulator. This is looking exactly like what we had on our Fanspeak board. McGlinchey to the Bears at 8. Lamar Jackson to the Bengals. I don't understand that pick. Josh Jackson to the Jets at 10. Roquan to Washington. Tremaine to Oakland. Christian Wilkins to Arizona. Quentin Nelson to Miami. Derwin to Dallas. Brian O'Neill to the Chargers. I have a second-round grade on him. Wow. So, right now, there's just a lot of Daron Payne to the Packers, Farrell to the Lions, Washington to the Ravens. Mark Andrews is on the board here. Rashaan Evans, Bryce Love still on the board. Ronnie Harrison. But I'm looking here to see what's on the board. So Arden Key. So Mark Andrews, Rashaan Evans, Bryce Love are still available in the mid to late part of the first round as the best players on the board. Wow. So Connor Williams, Orlando Brown are both still on the board as we're in the mid to late 20s. Mason Rudolph is there at 32 on my board because I think the Steelers are going to get him in real life if they win the Super Bowl and Ben retires. But we'll see who makes it to day 2. We're still in the first round technically, with the Rams just picking Anthony Johnson at 28. Orlando Brown to the Patriots. That's who I gave the Patriots in my Fanspeak mock, with the Patriots on difficult mode. Because Nate Solder's a free agent left tackle. The Vikings just took Mason Rudolph. Vita Vea went to the Eagles, and Pittsburgh took Rashaan Evans. So right now, 2 first-round talents, Bryce Love and Mark Andrews, made it to round 2. We don't really need a tight end, though. We got Jack Doyle. He's solid. And even if we needed a tight end, I feel like the Colts have much bigger needs in the tight end position. Don't you think? It'd be a nice luxury pick, but with all the defensive holes the Colts have, I really feel like they don't have a luxury pick, Ryan. What do you think? So far, what are your thoughts on the Colts, Ryan? Because we're about to see what comes up in round 2. Sounds like Thomas just joined us.
Thomas, did you just join us? So is Thomas here now? Thomas?
No, it wasn't him.
Oh, was it?
That wasn't Thomas, but Saquon, we got Saquon at number 4. I'm not sure what pick we're going to get this round, but we'll see what's available here. Okay, so P.J. Hall went to the Browns. Geis went to the Giants. Joshua Allen, the Kentucky edge rusher, went to the Patriots.
Really?
Yep. So,
all right, fair enough, fair enough.
I'm just not sure what's available for the Colts at this pick. I mean,
you know, when I had first watched Saquon, I was a little, I don't know, there's something about his tape that I just didn't quite like, but the more I kind of watch him, I'm like, I think he has his own unique style, but I also feel like some of his offensive linemen and tight ends kind of missed their blocks. So I also feel like fucking,
the reason I hated Saquon at first is because he didn't show me good pass protection. He corrected that. His vision got better too. Because he's always had the natural speed and ability to create separation and catch out of the backfield. He's always had that. My issues with him were better vision, better pass protection.
I guess my thing too is I feel like from what you told me then, he sounds like he's coachable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he is.
He sounds like he can sit there and say, hey, I'm doing this wrong. I get it. And he'll listen to his coaches and try and pick up technique.
Yeah.
So I feel like to me, that's definitely worth something. Yeah,
it is. And the Colts here, I feel like we either need an edge player or a linebacker. However, none are on the board. Mark Andrews and Bryce Love, we already got our running back. Jake Wienecke's the top receiver on the board. But I'm not sure if the Colts really need a receiver. They've got Hilton. Moncrief is a free agent, though. There's no depth behind Dorsett. We could take a receiver later, though, in the draft. We could take a receiver in round 3. We might. Isaiah Oliver's intriguing. Carlton Davis held Ridley in check. So, I mean, this is intriguing here. Should we take Wienecke out of South Dakota State, or should we go with another position besides receiver?
Okay, and this is for the Colts, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess my question then for the Colts then, what wide receivers do they have to you that are threats?
They've got T.Y. Hilton as a deep threat, and that's about it. Moncrief, their number 2 guy, is a free agent after this year. They don't really have anyone else. They traded Dorsett to the Patriots, so Luck or Brissett only really has one weapon in Hilton. You could get, and they've got Jack Doyle at tight end too, so I mean, you've got 2 weapons, Doyle and Hilton, and that's it. So we could take Jake Wienecke here out of South Dakota State. He's my top receiver on the board. My second best receiver.
You know, I'm going to say, well, okay, see, that's your top receiver. Who are the other 2 top receivers besides Wienecke?
Christian Kirk is my next best receiver, and then Calvin Ridley. Carlton Davis.
Calvin Ridley. Chris, there's no debate about it. I can't even believe
Carlton Davis held Calvin Ridley to 3 receptions for 30 yards, though, the Auburn corner. And he's not even the best corner on the board. That's Oliver.
Well, you also have to remember that different teams are going to prepare for players differently. Sometimes it's the coaching and the game plan that actually ends up winning the game versus the actual player.
Yeah, and the Colts drafted 2 corners last year. They drafted Quincy Wilson out of Florida and Nate Hairston out of Temple. And they're not even the 2 best corners on the team. They've got another corner, Rashawn Melvin, who's just dominated on tape this year. So he's probably going to get an extension as well. Colts might not even need a corner. I just listed that as a team need because the Colts, they released Vontae Davis, and they don't, unless one of these other younger corners steps up for them, they're not going to have that guy ready to go.
All right. So I guess it sounds like they went with corners. Sounds like the Colts kind of, I guess from what you told me, I'm going to say that we need to go with receiver. I guess the debate's going to come down to, do we want to go with Wienecke or do we want to go with Ridley or the other gentleman? And right now I'm going to say, I like Ridley. I mean, I like Christian Kirk too. That was the other guy I was thinking of. As far as overall talents go, I mean, I like all of them. But honestly, I feel like Calvin Ridley is going to give you that explosiveness and that playmaker ability that the Colts haven't really been able to achieve since like Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison.
I just drafted Calvin Ridley in the late 2nd round with the Patriots, so we might be able to get someone like Lazard or Sutton in the 3rd round because Sutton fell to the Packers at 81. We might be able to get him in the next round.
That would be nice to actually get Sutton. I feel like Sutton would be awesome for the Colts too.
So we don't have to take a receiver here if we're going to get someone in the 3rd round. But do we want to go with a Should we go with Wienecke or should we go with Oliver or should we go with Carlton Davis or Kirk? Because I'm looking at those 4 players as the players we should target. Should we go with a corner? It sounds like you believe the Colts can make it with the corners they drafted last year.
You know, I guess I was huge on Quincy Wilson. I mean, how has he looked on tape so far?
He struggled for most of the year, but he had 6 balls his way, and he had like 4 breakups last week and really started to come into his own.
So it sounds like he was kind of getting used to, like, hey, this is the position I play.
And Nate Hairston, the other corner, got his first career interception 2 weeks ago. So if you're content with those corners, we don't have to take one here, even though Oliver is probably the safest pick we can make. I picked Oliver with the Patriots.
Okay.
So we could go with Wienecke.
Are there any cornerbacks that are also safeties that are available?
The Colts got Malik Hooker in the first round, and they got Clayton Geathers. I don't think they need a safety.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
all right. So I guess I honestly then I don't think cornerback then, and I don't think safety. So I would say, how would you feel about a defensive lineman or possibly a tight end?
Well, the number 1 player on the board is a tight end, Mark Andrews out of Oklahoma. He's number 14 on my Fanspeak board, and he made it to the 2nd round.
You know, Chris, I'm going to say that sounds like a match in heaven.
He won the John Mackey Award, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tight end really isn't listed as a team need on the Colts board, but I think Mark Andrews can be an upgrade over Jack Doyle down the road. I like Jack Doyle, but I think Andrews is better.
Is Andrews a good blocker, Chris?
Yes.
Okay,
he played for Oklahoma.
He's an upgrade over their tight end they currently have. And then since he's a good blocker, he's also going to be able to learn, because he's new as well with Saquon, he's going to be able to learn the style and be able to set up blocks for him.
Yeah, I'm looking to see what safeties are on the board. Deshaun Elliott out of Texas, who struggled against Mark Andrews, is on the board. Jordan Whitehead out of Pittsburgh, who can play everywhere. The secondary is on the board. Jerome Baker's really the only linebacker. All the edge players that would have fit the Colts pass rush and their unit are gone. So we really got stuck in a sticky situation here. We could take so honestly, we didn't list tight end as a team need on the Colts board, and Fanspeak might not give us a good grade if we take Andrews. But he's the best player on the board, and I feel he's an upgrade. And I would have 0 problem with taking him here. If that's what you want to do, I'm cool with that, totally.
Chris, this is why we should be GMs in the NFL, so I'm going to say let's do it.
All right, we're going to take Mark Andrews here. Best player on the board, so we've got another tight end for luck, and we got Barkley. So we're going to go Mark Andrews. Interesting discussion here, but we'll see what happens now with this 2nd round, how it plays out. Bryce Love went to the Browns. We'll see what happens and how the board shakes up, because I think odds are someone will fall to us. We're on pick 40. The Broncos just took Jake Wienecke in the 2nd round out of South Dakota State to pair up with Baker at wide receiver. So that's an interesting pick. But we'll do our own version of the Broncos draft on Fanspeak. But right now, it's just Kirk and Ridley and on tape and Lazard are all still on the board. I had them in that 37 through 48-ish range. Washington took Josh Allen to replace Kirk Cousins out of Wyoming, so that was an interesting pick. McFadden went to Miami.
That'd be a nice one.
Tarvaris McFadden. Brenneman went to the Dallas Cowboys to learn under Witten. Whitehead went to the Chargers. Jack Campos out of Iowa State went to the Packers. Martez Ivey went to Florida. Christian Kirk just got picked by the Jets at Seattle's pick. Taven Bryan went to Atlanta. Ridley, Tate, and Lazard are all still on the board. Burnett, Cobbs, Sutton. All these receivers are still on the board. Jair Alexander is still on the board, too. Denzel Ward still on the board. I mean, there's a lot of weapons. as far as playmakers go that are still on the board. Ridley just got picked by the Niners. Jair just got picked by Jacksonville.
I like that. Ridley is a Niner. Imagine Jimmy G's on to him.
Yep. So, Auden Tate, great. Auden Tate and Lazard, I have them one pick apart. Oh, Auden Tate just got selected by the Browns at pick 63. So, right now it looks like Lazard's the top player on the board, and he made it to round 3. So, yeah, if Lazard makes it to our pick, that's probably what we're doing in round 3. I mean, I know all offense, this is not a smart draft, but we need to make sure Luck has the weapons to succeed. And with these weapons, Luck's just going to take off if he's healthy next year. With these weapons, with all these weapons we've got for Luck.
Well, I feel like that should be our next assignment for Luck, then, is how do we keep him healthy, and that's with an offensive line. I think in the next couple rounds, we should start to evaluate the linemen who we like and who we don't like.
We can do that now, actually, whenever we find out who the Colts are on the board, because I think even though Lazard's the best player on the board, you can make an argument that we need to either focus on offensive line or the pass rush or something, depending on what's there. You can definitely make that argument. And a lot of the teams have reached for edge players on difficult mode, which is something I've noticed. So
I feel like that's going to be a position this year that's going to be harder to evaluate than the other ones, and that's going to be that edge rusher.
Yeah. So the Browns have reached for Mitch Hyatt out of Clemson.
Ooh, that's kind of a nice pick, though, between Mitch Hyatt and the Browns.
Wow.
I mean, pretty good.
Alan Lazard, Simi Cobbs, Burnett, and Sutton are all still on the board here. Denzel Ward is undersized. I don't want to take him with the corners they've got. There's a lot of receivers. If we wait till late, I don't want to wait for – because the Colts have good receivers. There really isn't a guard worth taking. There are some linebackers, though. I mean, Lorenzo Carter's a 34 outside linebacker. He can play off the edge, but I have him listed as a linebacker because he's projected to play linebacker, outside linebacker in the NFL. Sean Dion Hamilton's on the board. Malik Jefferson's there, so there's a lot of linebackers, but at the same time, the value for a receiver is too good to pass up. So do you want to go Lazard here, or do you want to look at another position besides receiver?
Another position you said besides receiver?
Yeah, Lazard's the best overall player on the board, and the Colts do need a number 2 target with Moncrief set to be a free agent. And I just feel like Lazard would be the best fit in this situation. However, if there's another...
Real quick, though, we're going to go ahead and again. We have the Colts.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck's going to have Saquon Barkley to help open up the game, and he's going to be able to have Mark Andrews and then Alan Lazard.
Yeah, and then we can worry about the...
I really like that, Chris. I mean, what about you? I mean, I feel like that 3 or 4 set of players right there, to me, in the next 2 or 3 years would be enough to be able to really get you a push in the playoffs.
Yeah, and with those 3 players, because Luck already has T.Y. Hilton as his number 1 target, but he's a slot receiver. He's not a big body. But you give him Andrews, you give him Lazard, you give him Saquon. He has enough weapons that he can really open this offense and really stretch things out. So we'll go with Lazard here, but we really do need to hope that a defensive player falls to us in the 4th round, because going offense, I'm pretty certain the Colts are not going to go offense. But at the same time, I don't fault the Colts for going this route. This is really going to be beneficial for Andrew Luck. Now we need to either get an O-lineman or a defensive lineman. We've got Ryan Kelly at center. We've got Costanzo at left tackle. But the rest of the O-line at both guard spots needs to be upgraded. So we could have took Will Hernandez, but there weren't really any other starters at guard available. So we'll see what happens and how this affects us in the 4th round. But offense. This is going to be very interesting to see how the board shakes out. Wow. Simi Cobbs and Sutton are both still on the board in the third round. I don't understand it. Simi Cobbs, yeah, Simi Cobbs just been selected by the Packers. Denzel Ward was just picked by the Lions.
Really, Denzel Ward dropped that much, huh?
Yeah. Cortland Sutton got picked by the Panthers in the third round.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep. We'll see what happens here, but right now I'm just looking at the Colts situation here, and Cameron Smith out of USC and Malik Jefferson are both still on the board here in this late part of the third round. So if either falls to round 4, yeah, there's a lot of linebackers on the board. Not only Smith and Jefferson, Trey Williams out of Auburn is an outside linebacker, Micah Kaiser, Virginia, Quentin Pauling, Ohio, who I all have third round grades on. They're all still on the board here. So I feel like we should take a linebacker, regardless of who falls to us. Let's take a linebacker in round 4, because someone's going to fall to us.
I like Malik Jefferson. You already know who I said.
Yeah, I don't know if Cameron Smith. I like Malik better than Cameron too. I know I have Cameron Smith ahead on my draft game, but if Malik falls to us, we got to take him. I honestly think.
No, I honestly, if Cameron Smith is there, I feel like he would be like a loser. How do you pronounce his last name for Carolina? I feel like he'd be that type of player for the Colts.
Kuechly.
Yeah. So
we can take either Cameron Smith or Malik. I don't have a problem with either one. I have Smith ranked higher in the draft game at the moment, but if I did a third round of a mock draft, I'd probably have Malik as linebacker 4. And I know there's people that have Malik as linebacker 2 in this draft, so I really don't have a problem one way or the other. So if you,
I guess my question then is, do the Colts need someone that's more of a hard hitter, somewhat flat-footed, but definitely have the instincts and can drop in coverage, or do they need a little bit more of an athletic playmaker?
They've got tackling machines, but their guys struggle in coverage.
I feel like if that's the case, then I feel like Malik Jefferson would be better at coverage than what Harrison Smith is. Cameron Smith.
Yeah, Cameron Smith's got great instincts, but he lacks speed. Like, he's got 4.7 speed. Malik's faster. He's more versatile. He's better in coverage, but his instincts, scouts say his instincts are terrible. But at this point, the Colts really got nothing to lose by taking him. Damn it, Denver took Malik Jefferson. But the Colts can still get someone here when we're on the clock. All right, so it's round 4. Cameron Smith is on the board here, but the Broncos just took Malik Jefferson. So should we go with Cameron Smith here?
Yeah, let's definitely. I guess if the Broncos stole Malik Jefferson, it's okay. Who else is available at the backer position?
There's Trey Williams, Micah Kaiser, Quentin Pauling. Dorrance Armstrong, the pass rusher for the Kansas Jayhawks, is on the board if we want to take a flyer on him. He's an edge rusher that fits a 34 scheme. And there's a lot.
I'm conflicted between Cameron Smith and then Kaiser. What was his name?
Who, the edge rusher for Kansas, Dorrance Armstrong Jr. He only had like 1 sack this year. He had like 12 last year. But he's very explosive.
The guy before that.
Micah Kaiser out of Virginia. There's Trey Williams out of Auburn. I say the thing with Kaiser is he struggles to win blocks, Micah Kaiser. That's what Chris told me. Chris Robbins from Lombardi's Draft Talk. That Kaiser struggles with winning blocks. I'd rather have Cameron Smith then for that reason.
I would say I would definitely do Cameron Smith. So he's definitely the best player for that. I feel like.
Yep. I'm in agreement there. So we'll go with Cameron Smith here in round 4. And great drafting so far.
So, I mean, I feel like it's definitely a solid pick. I mean, especially if you like the kid speed.
Yep. Damn, Equanimous St. Brown is still on the board in the 4th round. That's just not right.
What was that last part, Chris?
Equinemy St. Brown, the Notre Dame receiver, he's still on the board in the 4th round. That is just not right.
Are you serious? Is St. Brown still on the board on the game?
Yeah.
How is that possible, Chris? You have a guy out of Notre Dame who literally was just like one of the biggest playmakers at the wide receiver position.
He fell to the Chicago Bears in round 4.
Jeez. Honestly, though, I almost like that just because I feel like he would actually help Mitchell Trubisky for Chicago succeed if he did fall there.
Yeah. I'm in agreement on that.
Well, it's a very interesting situation because, I mean, on the one end, you have this athletic playmaking, wideout and stuff like that. But then on the other end, I mean, you also have a guy that may not be able to be the best receiver. I feel like, Notre Dame has been able to produce like the best wideout.
Yeah, I mean, wow. So Godwin Ikwebuke, Deion Kane finally got picked in round 4, late 4th round. But yeah, Micah Kaiser and Pauling are both still on the board. So we could double up at linebacker, or we could go with an edge player, or we could go with a corner. We got a bunch of options for round 5. I mean, we really do have a lot of options for round 5. I'm just surprised.
Right now, Chris?
We got a lot of linebacker options. Micah Kaiser's still on the board in this draft.
Get out of here. Micah Kaiser's still on the board?
Now he just got picked, but yeah, the Patriots just picked him in round 4. And now there's the comp picks. But yeah, Cameron Smith, we got him in the 4th round, and that was a great pickup. Quentin Pauling, the Ohio linebacker you loved, is still on the board. So we could get him and pair him with Smith.
The Ohio linebacker I love is still there too?
Yeah. Pauling, the Ohio linebacker you loved, he's still there.
Jeez.
I graded him a late 3rd, early 4th round. I gave him a late 3rd, early 4th round grade, and he's still there in round 5. And I put it on difficult mode. I didn't put it on easy mode. I put it on difficult mode. Come on, guys. You're making this too easy for Ryan and I, and we put it on difficult mode.
Right? Even I'm starting to think I should start applying for a job.
So, yeah.
Honestly, though, I can only imagine the pressure that those scouts have sitting there trying to figure out every little detail, knowing that they got to draft the right guy. So
yep.
I would like to give a shout out to the scouts right now in the NFL.
Yeah. So here's who made it to round 5. Myles Gaskin, Damian Harris. Pauling didn't make it to our pick, but he did get picked in the 5th round. So we've got a few options. We could go with a cornerback like Perry Nickerson out of Tulane, Damone Arnett, Ohio State, Kevin Tolliver, LSU. Or we could go with another linebacker like Azim Victor, the Washington linebacker, but he has some off the field.
I like the idea of getting the defensive player out of LSU. I'm starting to get more sold on them in the program. And I've been watching
Kevin Tolliver, the second out of LSU.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Ed Paris at LSU is also available. So both LSU corners are still on the board in round 5. Do you like Tolliver or Ed Paris better?
I mean, I like Oliver, but who's the taller corner?
All right, let's look that up. That's a good question. I'll look that up. Kevin Tolliver.
A couple of factors. I mean, I know Quincy Wilson was like 6'1" or 6'2", so I wouldn't be opposed to taking a shorter corner, but I do like my corners to be a little bit bigger. That way they can compete with the wide receivers that are 6'4", 6'5".
Tolliver is 6'3", 204 pounds.
Ooh, so he has like that speed too. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go with Oliver on that.
So Kevin Tolliver the second. That's who we're gonna take. Should I look up Ed Paris's height, or should we just decide we're taking Tolliver?
Let's go with him.
I'm going to look up Ed Paris, too. I just typed his name. It's quick to load. Ed Paris is... Oh, he's got knee injuries. Yeah, let's go with Tolliver. They don't have his height listed, and he had a knee injury. He was lost for the season. He suffered a season-ending injury. We're just going to go with Tolliver. We'll play it safe. For the second, let's lock it in.
All right, let's lock it in.
Yeah, Billy Price, the Ohio State center, made it to round 5. Some people have him as the #1 center, but we got Ryan Kelly in the first round.
Nice.
So, yeah, so we'll take Kevin Tolliver the second, the LSU corner. But, yeah, Myles Gaskin's still on the board in round 5. This is ridiculous. He's too talented to slip that far. I know he's only 5'10", but he's too talented to fall that far in the draft. And Seattle just took Myles Gaskin in the 5th round. What a great pick by them. Denver gets Damian Harris, the starting running back for Alabama. I'm looking to see what else is still on the board because there are some good centers. There's some OTs, some guards, some pass rushers. This is the part of the draft where this is probably the best part to take an O-lineman for depth, probably. Yeah, if Billy Price makes it to our next pick in round 6, we'll take him because most consider him the #1 center in the draft. I don't like how he played versus or we could take Anthony Wimbush, that sack artist from Ball State who's like 6'1", 250. But I have him graded lower because he struggled on tape versus Okorafor. But he did get double-digit sacks this year. So if he does make it to the 6th round, we have to consider him because we haven't taken an edge rusher yet. And he's perfect for the scheme the Colts run. Asante Brown out of Western Michigan, who you had a 2nd-round grade on at safety, he's also still on the board. So if he makes it to round 6, he's someone to consider. I mean, there's
I like your strategy, though, of waiting until the 6th round. I mean, there's so many talented players still right now. I mean, I don't like for anyone that's actually taking much time to scout this class. I mean, it's really not too bad of a draft. It may not be as deep as what I thought like last year's was, but definitely it's actually a decently deep class. It's more deep than what we initially thought.
Yeah, it is. I think the pass rusher we wanted is gone. So,
pass rusher we wanted is gone.
Yeah, Anthony Wimbush. Dante Sawyer out of South Carolina is there, but I feel like there's better. Oh, no, he's gone too now. So, this game basically makes you reach for edge players, but there is some defensive. Maybe we don't need a D lineman. I'm just trying to figure out what we could get. Because there's a lot of good talent on the board. Next round, round 6. All right. So, yeah, round 6. We'll get to round 6, round 7. I don't know if a friend's going to come get me now or at 6:30. I was thinking they'd come at 6:30, but I don't know. Worst case scenario, the friend shows up while I'm doing the podcast, and we have to jam-pack everything into tomorrow's show on Friday afternoon, assuming you don't work. But you might work. I don't know. We can message each other about it if that's what it's going to come down to. But I want to finish the Colts draft first before. Because worst case scenario, we work too hard to try to perfect the Colts. And we can do the Broncos tomorrow if that's the case, because we'll see what happens, Ryan. I don't want to abandon this draft with the Colts. It's a good draft.
I mean, I feel like he's given the Colts a lot, but
Asante Brown's the #1 player on the board. Asante Brown, the Western Michigan safety, who you had as a second-round grade, he's still on the board, and he's the #1 player on the board. So we're going Asante Brown, Western Michigan here. Do you have...
I feel like we should move him up then.
Yeah, you had a second-round grade on him. I remember you talking about how much you loved his tape.
You know, I'm really excited right now. I feel like we should go ahead and pick him up. Pick him, Chris. Pick him.
I'm taking him. So Asante Brown is off the board here. There are a lot of good corners still on the board as well, but we're going to go with Asante Brown here, and we'll see what we end up getting with round 7.
You know, I'm really, the more I play this game right now, it's like I'm looking more and more forward to watching the Colts right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of good receivers on the board, too. There's players in the top 200 that are still on the board. I mean, Kyle Lauetta out of Richmond, who got a Senior Bowl invite, is still on the board here. And if he makes it to round 7, I'm open to taking him as a quarterback behind Luck and Brissett. Shaquem Griffin, that edge rusher with one arm for Central Florida, still on the board. We could take him. Iman Marshall is on the board. Wow, Austin Schlottman is still on the board here. We could take Schlottman next round if he makes it to our pick.
He's still on the board?
Austin Schlottman, he's still on the board. Your #1 center, he's still on the board. We could get him for depth here if he makes it to round 7.
I was going to say, get him for depth. Just get my guy. They'll be starting.
Nick DeLuca's also still on the board. Out of North Dakota State, he got a Senior Bowl invite. He's healthy this year. We could get him too.
Chris, you pick the guy. You know exactly who I want.
Schlottman just got picked.
Chris, you waited too long. Terrible.
It's on difficult mode.
Oh, blame the game, Chris. Blame the game. I think that there's something still called human error.
I'm just curious to see what happens. Timon Paris is still on the board at offensive tackle out of Stony Brook. Your favorite offensive tackle, Timon Paris, he's still on the board. If he makes it to round 7, that's who we're taking.
Oh, yeah. Dude, why are all these people I like still going this late? I really think you rigged the game to make me look bad.
No. 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 No.
You're like, yeah, I may have slipped Schlottman down in the later rounds.
I just went off my draft game rankings. I've only updated up to the tight ends. Like, I have only gotten Senior Bowl info for up to the tight ends.
I feel like you, Tracy, and Uzziah, and good old Thomas are out to make me think I'm crazy for scouting the 10-9.
Well, we're going to get Timon if he makes it to that pick because I know you like him, and the Colts need offensive tackle depth. And the fact that we've waited this long, we've waited 6 rounds to take an offensive lineman is a fireable offense. So if Timon makes it, we're taking him.
Let's not go that far. I mean, let's face it. The guys that we had scouted at offensive tackle positions, some people might have them ranked later like that, but honestly, let's face it, the guy out of Stony Brook, and then Tony Mario
gave Timon Paris to the Steelers in the 2nd round of his mock. So if we get Timon Paris, we got to take him for depth because the Colts have some good offensive tackles, but they need more depth at the position. And Timon Paris at that point, that late in the draft, is a great pick and a great way to end the draft. I don't even care if there's other players ahead of Timon on the board. If Timon's there, we're taking him. And Timon made it. Timon made it to round 7. Timon Paris, we're clocking in the pick.
I love it. I love it. This is awesome.
Timon Paris, round 7, penciling it in, putting it in. It is official now. I don't know if we get another pick, but we didn't take an edge player, but that's okay. We got Timon that late in the draft. That makes up for everything. And we got a good class. Saquon, Mark Andrews, Lazard, Cameron Smith, Tolliver. We went defense late in the draft, and then we ended it with O-line with Timon Paris. And I don't know if we get another 7th-round pick, but if we do, Brandon Shedd out of Hobart is still there in round 7. I really liked his tape, so there's a lot of players still on the board at this point. I don't know if anyone... Joe Cuell's still there? Shit, we need to take him if we get another 7th-rounder. I don't know who's there, but right now I'm looking at... Ooh, yeah, I mean, there's still some good talent on this board. Marcus Baugh emerged as someone who's now on the board. Jeb Blazevik, Austin Golson out of Auburn is still there if we want to get a center for depth. I don't know if we're going to get another pick, but there's some talent. I mean, Darius Phillips out of Western Michigan, the corner you liked, he's still on the board. I don't know if we're going to get another pick, though. That's the thing. Carolina gets Cuell round 7. All right. Are we going to get another pick, or is the game going to not give us another pick? Just curious. What's going to happen here? Because there's some talent. Daniel Carlson was so this draft's Mr. Irrelevant. No, Brandon Shedd goes to the Bengals. Reggie Carter out of Georgia is this year's Mr. Irrelevant. And Ryan Nall went undrafted. Demetrius Monday went undrafted. Tony Fields out of Indiana went undrafted. Darius Phillips, another corner you had a 2nd-round grade on, went undrafted. And that's the Colts draft. It is a thing of beauty. And, yeah. What did you think of that Colts draft, Ryan, with all the players? We went offense early, then defense on day 3, and then we got Timon in the 7th. What did you think of that draft for the Colts, Ryan?
I mean, as long as Andrew Luck stays healthy, I feel like this Colts team with this draft actually has a really good chance to be a solid team in the next 3 years. I mean, think about these players plus the ones from last year. I mean, for once, actually, I think the Colts are going to have a great defense. And then I also think that with the offensive pieces that we chose, Andrew Luck's going to be able to, hopefully, if he stays in Indianapolis, he'll be able to finish out that career really strong and put some very good numbers on.
Yeah, but what we did was sort of unique. We didn't get...
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if you remember, I had written an article about Andrew Luck. I mean, his numbers are definitely there. I mean, his health may be on the shaky end just a little bit, but as far as overall play, I mean, he should definitely be talked about as far as being a really good quarterback. But now he's going to be able to get these weapons that we drafted him in the next couple of years. We're really going to see him more become that elite quarterback once Brady leaves.
Yeah, we went with offensive playmakers early, then we went with defensive playmakers on day 3, and then we got an offensive lineman, Timon Paris, to start the 7th round because we just felt the value was too good at that point.
I mean, I don't want to gloat for us or anything, Chris, but I think we're doing a good enough job that, you know, I think we could apply for a job at the Cleveland Browns headquarters and we might get one.
Yep, and
plus I just like to rag on Julian Stevens.
Yeah, I'm gonna reload the Fanspeak game, and we're gonna do Denver now. Assuming, yep. So we're gonna get Denver's thing set up.
It's gonna be heartbreaking for me because I have to remember in the back of my head we're not picking away from that one. We're gonna be in a top pick situation. This is terrible. This is making me
Baker Mayfield's gonna be. It depends if we get. Depends on who falls to us here. I'm guessing we're going to get Baker Mayfield.
If we lose out and Baker Mayfield is gone and Denver doesn't have a choice for quarterback, Chris, this all comes on you and you're fired.
Well, the way the board's set up, we have Rosen at 1, Darnold at 2, Baker at 5, and we have Lamar Jackson at 10. So we're pretty much guaranteed Baker or Lamar.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Chris, you're forgiven.
As long as we don't get Darnold, you're not going to kill me, basically.
Now, if you did that out of spite, just to make Jose Ray happy, I couldn't be too upset. But I would also possibly reach to the computer and shake you a little bit.
Yeah, the hologram. Ryan would turn into a hologram, and he would torture me as a hologram.
I would become like that arch nemesis with like the video on like Darth Vader. But
yep.
I guess right now, I mean, even if we did take Darnold, worst case scenario, at least in my head, at least we have a guy that can lead an offense and he has an arm, and hopefully with our coaching we would be able to adjust it. His accuracy and decision making have been my biggest issue when I watch games and when I sit there and I wonder why he throws the ball the way he does. I think people get blinded by the UFC name brand. So, I mean, I wouldn't complain too much because he's still better than some of the other prospects that I've seen as far as over the past couple of years. So, I mean, it's one of those bittersweet things if we do get Darnold.
Yeah.
Now, if we got Jackson, or we got, I don't know, Mason Rudolph on the side hand, Baker Mayfield, depends on which one we get. I may very well do Broncos jersey.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to be that guy, but I almost want to encourage every Broncos fan to take a Paxton Lynch jersey if they have one and start setting them on fire. I think we can learn something from Cleveland fans.
Yeah. You remember that song, We Didn't Start the Fire? Basically that and Paxton Lynch jerseys.
Yeah, and then you have me with the ukulele singing Kumbaya.
Yep, so the Draft Utopia, we're starting the second. So we're going to use the Draft Utopia Team Needs board, and then we're going to go to next. And then we're going to get to Denver. And then we'll pick for Denver. This is going to be fun. So we're going to try difficulty because when we did difficulty, we got a lot of really good players, even on difficult mode. Now, if a lot of teams take quarterbacks just to piss us off, then I don't know what to say if that happens.
Honestly, if it does that, I may call it Skynet Jr.
All right.
And that's just because I know that the computer would be betting against us, so he's trying to get the computer robotic apocalypse going on.
Oh, wait. It made me reset. Damn it. Wait. Am I allowed to go back? And damn it. It made me reset the game. It made me reset everything. So all that work was for nothing.
Oh, man, Chris.
Take a deep breath. Pick the Broncos board. This isn't difficult. This isn't. You're just disappointed that you don't get to pick for. Well, you do get to pick for the Broncos. I'm just very frustrated. I'm just very frustrated that I have to reset everything. It's like Ryan does not deserve to be waiting this long to find out who the Broncos are going to take.
What a night is good.
For 7 rounds, please. Move on. Come on, Fanspeak. Come on. 7 rounds, please. Okay. My friend apparently is here. So, should we do this? Should we continue everything we were going to say tomorrow? Then, like all 8 picks, the Broncos draft, should we just do all of that tomorrow then?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's the beauty of Draftopia, Chris.
So this Broncos draft, we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger. I know that makes us a-holes, but we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger, Broncos fans. Hopefully you'll beat the Colts tonight or lose if you want a higher pick. So